Meet Sarah, a brave woman who dedicated her life to serving her country. As a young girl, she dreamed of becoming a soldier, inspired by stories of courage and honor. After years of hard work, she proudly joined the military, where she faced challenges that made her even stronger. Unfortunately, during her service, Sarah was injured in an accident that left her in a wheelchair. Despite this, her spirit remained unbroken. Sarah continued to embody the values she learned in the military: resilience and determination. She became an advocate for other veterans and worked tirelessly to raise awareness about disability issues. On one sunny afternoon, Sarah decided to visit a local park. She looked forward to enjoying the fresh air and watching the world go by from her wheelchair. However, what she encountered was shocking. A group of bullies began to taunt her, making hurtful comments and trying to make her feel small. This cruel behavior was not what Sarah expected on her day out. Little did she know that help was on the way, and things were about to change dramatically. As Sarah sat in the park, soaking up the sun and watching children play, she felt a moment of peace. However, that tranquility was shattered when a group of teenagers approached her with sneers on their faces. They laughed loudly, pointing at Sarah in her wheelchair, their voices dripping with mockery. "Look at her! What a loser!" one of them shouted, while others joined in with hurtful comments meant to belittle her. Sarah felt her heart race as they closed in. She had faced many obstacles in her life, but never expected to be treated like this. She took a deep breath and tried to ignore them, focusing on the beauty around her rather than their cruel words. Yet, the taunts grew louder and more aggressive as they pushed closer, making it hard for her to find calm. "Why don't you just go home?" another bully said, chuckling as if it were a joke. Despite her attempts to remain composed, Sarah couldn't help but feel the weight of their cruelty. Just when she thought the situation couldn't get worse, the sound of approaching footsteps began to echo, hinting that help might soon arrive. As the taunts continued to rain down, Sarah felt a mix of anger and sadness bubbling inside her. She had spent countless hours training in the military, learning to stand strong in the face of adversity. Yet here she was, feeling small and helpless. Fighting the urge to respond with fury, she took another deep breath and focused on the beauty of the park around her. The vibrant flowers waving gently in the breeze and the laughter of children echoing in the distance. Sarah reminded herself of her military training, which emphasized staying calm under pressure. Instead of engaging with the bullies, she chose to ignore them, hoping they would eventually lose interest. She pictured herself as a soldier facing an enemy, confident and steadfast. Her resolve sparked a sense of pride, pushing back against the hurtful words. At that moment, Sarah spotted a group of people nearby who seemed to notice the commotion. She felt a flicker of hope that someone might step in to help her. As she sat quietly, determined not to let their mockery define her, she mentally prepared for what could happen next, knowing that support was drawing nearer. As the bullying continued, several people in the park began to notice the commotion. A young mother with her toddler paused, frowning as she overheard the cruel remarks aimed at Sarah. She instinctively tightened her grip on her child's hand, feeling a surge of protective anger. "That's not right," she whispered to herself, wishing she could do something to help. Nearby, a couple sitting on a bench exchanged worried glances. The man leaned forward, his brow furrowed with concern. "Someone should say something," he murmured, feeling disturbed by the scene. His partner nodded in agreement, her expression reflecting empathy for Sarah's plight. They both felt helpless, but were determined to act if the situation escalated. An older gentleman who had been reading a book glanced up and shook his head disapprovingly at the bullies. He set his book aside, ready to intervene if needed. Their growing sense of unease united them as they silently agreed that what was happening was wrong. While Sarah remained calm, the witnesses prepared themselves mentally to step in, sharing an unspoken bond of support for her in that moment of distress. Just as the tension in the park reached a breaking point, the sound of boots hitting the pavement echoed nearby. A group of Marines, fresh from a community event, strolled into view, their presence commanding attention. Their uniforms gleamed in the sunlight, and their confident demeanor brought an instant sense of reassurance to those witnessing the situation. As they approached, one Marine recognized Sarah from a veterans advocacy event where she had spoken about her experiences. He had been inspired by her resilience and bravery. "Hey, isn't that Sarah?" he called out to his fellow Marines, pointing toward her wheelchair. Hearing her name, Sarah turned her head, her heart lifting at the sight of familiar faces that embodied strength and honor. The Marines wasted no time. They quickly assessed the situation and moved closer to Sarah. "What's going on here?" one Marine asked firmly, addressing the bullies with an authoritative tone. The shift in energy was palpable as the bullies hesitated, realizing they were now outnumbered by those who not only respected veterans, but also stood ready to defend them. It was a turning point, and for Sarah, hope surged anew as support arrived, just in time. The Marines wasted no time in confronting the bullies. With a commanding presence, one Marine stepped forward, his stance firm and unwavering. "Listen up," he said with authority, his voice carrying across the park. "You need to stop this right now. It's not okay to bully anyone, especially a veteran." The bullies exchanged anxious glances, realizing they had crossed a line. Another Marine joined in, speaking directly to Sarah with kindness in his eyes. "Ma'am, we've got your back," he assured her, offering a comforting smile. Sarah could feel the weight of the situation lifting as she saw the support surrounding her. The bullies, now outnumbered and faced with strong figures who represented honor and respect, began to back away slowly. The group of witnesses who had been observing felt a surge of relief as well. They were grateful that the Marines had intervened. The atmosphere shifted from tension to empowerment, reminding everyone present that standing up against cruelty is essential. With the Marines standing tall beside her, Sarah felt a renewed sense of strength and safety, knowing she was no longer alone in facing her adversaries. The presence of the Marines had a profound effect on both Sarah and the crowd surrounding them. As the bullies retreated, Sarah felt a wave of relief wash over her, dispelling the fear that had gripped her moments ago. The weight of their cruel words felt lighter as she recognized that true strength and support were present. She smiled at the Marines, grateful for their intervention, which restored her dignity and confidence. For the witnesses in the park, the situation transformed from one of anxiety to empowerment. Many felt inspired by the Marines' courageous stand against bullying. They exchanged looks of encouragement, united by a shared sense of justice. Parents who had been watching with unease now felt it was crucial to teach their children about respect and kindness. The mood shifted. Instead of whispering in concern, people began discussing how important it was to support others in difficult times. With the bullies gone and a spirit of camaraderie blossoming, the crowd started to gather around Sarah. Some even approached her to share words of encouragement and gratitude for her service, reinforcing the idea that compassion always triumphs over cruelty. In that moment, she realized she was not alone, and nothing could take away her bravery. In the moments that followed the Marines' intervention, the atmosphere in the park shifted dramatically. Sarah felt a deep sense of gratitude toward the Marines, recognizing them not just as soldiers, but as vital allies in her fight against bullying. Their willingness to stand up for her restored not only her dignity, but also her faith in community support. She realized that she was not alone in facing challenges. There were people who cared deeply for veterans and their well-being. The crowd grew more engaged, discussing ways to create a safer and more welcoming environment for everyone, especially those with disabilities. Attendees began to share their personal stories of overcoming adversity, further strengthening the bond among them. Parents encouraged their children to be kind and stand up for others, fostering a culture of empathy and respect. Sarah's experience highlighted the importance of having a solid support system. The Marines had shown her that heroes come in many forms, and sometimes they wear uniforms while other times they are everyday people willing to lend a hand. In her heart, Sarah held on to this moment as a reminder that solidarity can make a significant difference and that kindness should always prevail over cruelty. The events at the park serve as a powerful reminder of the importance of standing up against bullying and supporting those in need, especially veterans like Sarah. It's crucial to recognize that bullying can happen anywhere, and it affects not only the individuals targeted, but also the community as a whole. When bystanders choose to speak out and intervene, they create an environment where compassion thrives. The Marines' decisive action demonstrated that courage comes in many forms. Their willingness to defend Sarah not only empowered her, but inspired others around them to take a stand against cruelty. This incident highlights the vital role communities play in supporting each other, fostering an atmosphere where everyone feels safe and valued. As we reflect on this story, let's commit to being allies for those who may be vulnerable. By encouraging kindness and respect, we can help combat bullying and honor the sacrifices made by our veterans. Each of us has the power to make a difference. Small actions can lead to significant change. Together, we can build a society that champions dignity, support, and respect for all individuals, ensuring that no one faces adversity alone. As we reflect on Sarah's story, it is essential to recognize our role in combating bullying and supporting those in need. Each of us has the power to make a difference in our communities by standing up for individuals who may feel powerless. If you witness bullying, whether it occurs in schools, parks, or online, do not hesitate to speak out. Your voice can help create a safer environment for everyone. Consider reaching out to someone who might be struggling, whether they are a veteran or anyone facing challenges. Showing empathy and kindness can uplift those who feel isolated or disrespected. Encourage your friends and family to join you in this effort, fostering a culture that values compassion and respect. Additionally, advocate for awareness programs that educate others about the impact of bullying and the importance of supporting marginalized groups. By spreading kindness and understanding, we can collectively create a more inclusive society where everyone feels valued. Let Sarah's experience inspire us to act with courage and compassion. Together, we can build a world where bullying is confronted head-on and where all individuals, especially our veterans, receive the honor and support they deserve.